Hello, everybody, and welcome to this special edition of the Bullring, the best of the Bullring so far here in 2023. And no, Jess and I are not wearing the exact same clothes that we wore last week, nor do we have the same exact sponsor that we had last week. But Shack Eyewear is actually going to get a little bit more out of their little bang for their buck there, because this is, as I said, going to be a best of the Bullring.
We take care of our sponsors here.
We try to take care of our sponsors here as much as possible. And this gives us a chance just to, look back on some of our favorite interviews so far here in 2023. And luckily, since we started the show the first week in January, we've actually got a lot of stuff that we can choose from.
Yes, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's just the first week of February. How are we going to have a best of the Bullring? But then I think back about all the interviews we've done the last few weeks, and we've done some great stuff. So We've had some awesome guests. So
yes, and as we are going through right now, of course, we're right in the middle of speed weeks down in Florida. World Series of Asphalt going on right now at New Smyrna Speedway. Of course, all the happenings on dirt at Volusia and East Bay, and just all sorts of great stuff going on down there, including at Daytona International Speedway, the Daytona 500 coming up this weekend. You'll have the trucks on track on Friday, Xfinity cars on Saturday, and just a great time of year.
yes,
Just
it
a
is.
great time of year.
We're totally spoiled because it doesn't matter what your
Persuasion.
thing is.
Yep.
You've got it, and then you get to enjoy all the other disciplines once your race ends.
Yep, that is true. And as I said, we're right in the middle of it right now. Again, this a special edition of the Bullring, the best of the Bullring so far here in 2023. When we come back, we'll have our first interview. You might be surprised on who that is.
Never before in the 70-year history of Five Flag Speedway has a season opener been anything quite like this. The biggest names in short track racing converge on the high banks of Five Flag Speedway for the opening round of the Deep South Cranes Blizzard Series and the inaugural event of the ASA Stars National Racing Tour. The biggest stars, the fastest cars. It's the Sunshine State 200 for super late models, March 10th and 11th. Go to FiveFlagSpeedway.com for full details.
PFC Brakes has more championships than any other, and now they're on every champion's car as the official brake provider for the Camping World SRX Series. Remember, PFC Brakes. The secret is it's quicker.
Welcome to Raceface Digital Collectible Cards. Are you a driver or a team looking to expand your brand? Want to connect with your fans, give sponsors more exposure, and earn income from all card sales? Then Raceface Digital has you covered. Digitize your brand with 5 different collectible cards. Enrollment is now open to all drivers and all series. Visit racefacedigital.com today and use invite code RA1.
I'm Ty Majeski, and you're watching Racing America.
Welcome back to the Bullring, presented by Shack Eye Gear. Alan and Jess here with you this afternoon, and so glad to be joined by our next guest, NASCAR Hall of Famer Mark Martin. And Mark, as I understand it, you're what is this? Can you still vacay when you're retired, or is it just all vacay now?
I think it's all vacay or all work. I love working with my hands and working on stuff. So I try to fill my time, working on something.
Well, what is it like to as a race car driver, a successful race car driver, you do get the luxury to retire, at a young age where you can still do a lot of things. You worked your whole life in racing, to get to that point What do you do now to keep busy?
I work on stuff. I keep everything that we own clean, vehicles. I'm a neat, clean freak organizer guy. I'm a huge race fan. Don't forget that. And I'm a huge race fan of late model racing. And one of the motivations for being on your show was Jess, because I'm a huge fan of Travis and Jeff and Jess, and
You're going to make Jess cry.
There's one thing that Travis did that I never accomplished in my career, and that's the snowball derby. And it bothers me. I lost the snowball derby with 5 laps to go in 1978, my second time down there. I was leading and blistered a right rear tire. And it bothers me as much, that loss, as the 2007 Daytona 500.
Oof.
It just tears my guts up that I didn't win the snowball, especially when I was sitting right there with it in my lap.
Boy, if that doesn't tell you something right there.
I know. And I mentioned earlier on the show that if anyone watching this show for whatever reason is on Twitter and they don't follow you, you're a great follow, because you weigh in on everything that's happening in short track racing, all the big races. You give your opinion, which we love to see. And, you're very still up to speed on what's going on in short track racing. I feel like a lot of guys stay, up on the NASCAR stuff, but you have so much to say on the late models specifically. So I wanted to ask, do you have any thoughts or opinions on this new national tour, the ASA? What's the
ASA Stars and SRL National, which are two different national tours, after we never had a national tour.
Right.
So now we got two.
Or your opinion on any other opinions you want to throw at us about the current late model climate.
Well, I think it's a start in the right direction. The late model racing needed, it needs work on the pavement, especially the dirt. The dirt late models have really got it going on, and I really want to see the pavement stuff take shape. So and the purses go up. Man, the purses are horrendous, and you need to really look at the late model dirt program for inspiration. Those guys race for 20,000, on a weeknight, 20,000 to win, and they get 3 laps of practice, and that's it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ways that this late model stuff on pavement has gotten out of control. 4 or 5 days of testing and practicing and tires and all this stuff. These big shows have just gotten out of control, and I'm so excited to see the tables turn in the right direction for the pavement late models. That's where my heart is, because that was the foundation that propelled me to NASCAR racing. And the reason that I love my late model years more than the NASCAR years is because my handprints were all over those cars. I did every setup on every car that I raced. I did the setup, probably hung the body, did all the setups, and did all the tires and the tire stack, and made all the decisions.
And you still remember those setups, right?
I do. And I don't, I remember some of the setups on the NASCAR cars, but it's different when you have somebody else doing the work for you. It doesn't burn into your brain like it does when it's your entire life's focus.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can't wait to ask you a few more questions. We could really not.
I know. I was like, all right, I got it.
We can do this for about an hour, but that's a good stopping point. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more with Mark Martin.
What creates a winning combination? Quality, focus, discipline, and most importantly, speed. At Pepperjack Kennels, we provide exceptional water and land training services for hardworking retrievers. From leading in the field to leading on the track, together we establish winning dogs and a winning team. Devoted to retrievers and motorsports, we are Pepperjack Kennels. Visit us online to learn more.
5-star bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market, aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials, tested tough for optimum performance. The highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-star.
With a can of PB Blaster in your hand, even you can work it like a pro. PB Blaster busts the toughest rust anywhere it's found. In the garage.
That's what I'm talking about.
In the yard.
Oh, that's right, you're in control. Come at me, bro.
Penetrate tough rust anywhere around the house.
Come on, get you some. That's right, baby. Woo!
PB Blaster. Don't bust your knuckles, bust your nuts.
Get some.
I just enjoy it. I think it helps me. I think it's nice to go back and kind of see what you've learned since you raced in the past, and the cars have changed a lot. So I just enjoy going back. I think it helps me become a better driver, you know, a little bit better awareness, you know, and things like that. But overall, just it's fun, and you know, it's good to challenge yourself in something. I feel like the late model series are very tough. I mean, those guys run those cars every weekend, and it's hard to just come in and win a race, but it's a good opportunity to try that.
Well, the big news this week finally out that the Cars Tour has been acquired by a new group, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kevin Harvick, Justin Marks, and Jeff Burton, which I think is great, but it also leaves a lot of questions. So to join us now from the Cars Tour is Keely Dubinsky, and I guess the first question, Keely, is you are still with the Cars Tour, correct?
Yes, I am still the director of operations for the tour.
Well, I think a lot of people, you know, are going to say, what if anything is going to change? I mean, do you think when you get to Southern National in March that it's going to look different, or is a lot of the things that are going to change not necessarily on the racetrack?
No, I don't think it'll look much different, especially right away, because the new owners are trying to get familiar with how the series operates and what works and what doesn't. So I think at least for this first year, we're going to try to keep everything the same. And, you know, if we find an issue that we want to correct, we will.
Keely, I first want to say congratulations. This is a big deal for you and Jack. And
well, it's great because you didn't text her this week when the news came out.
I know. I was like, well, I'll talk to her on the Bullring because
she probably
I figured,
thought, what did I do to her?
I figured everyone in the racing community is blowing your phone up because that's just how big this news was.
Yeah.
I think some people saw it coming with Dale Jr. and maybe Kevin Harvick, but I certainly did not see Justin Marks being involved or Jeff Burton.
Yeah, I was the same way.
So I know this is very exciting for everyone, but it's probably a little bittersweet too. And I just want to let you know that I guess I'm speaking for myself, was very excited to see that you are still going to be involved. You're just going to keep your role there. And I'm so excited. We say in racing that, what do they say? All rising tide, rise.
Floats all ships or something.
Yeah. Okay, you guys get what I'm saying. Okay, so this is great news, but you know things are going to change. So, what can you just tell us how you're feeling and what your thoughts are? Anything and a statement that you want to make?
Well, first, thank you. Yeah, it has been crazy. You know, obviously it is bittersweet because this has been like me and Jack's baby.
It's your whole life.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, this is my entire life.
Let's keep going. We're going to make her cry. Come on.
I already thought about
it's
that.
like Barbara Walters.
I mean, this is like my entire heart and soul is into this series, and so is Jack's. And so, like, for us to be able to now have this new ownership group, helping us out and allowing us to use more resources, this is huge. And now we're going to be able to operate this series on a level that it's never even seen before. Because in order to be involved in a series like the Car Store, you have to put everything that you have into it. You have to pay attention to the trends, the personalities of the drivers. There's just so much that goes into it. And so I think that having this group is just going to be really special because they're already it seems like they're already invested, just like Jack and I are.
Well, you mentioned Jack McNally, and he, took ownership at the very end of Pro Cup, and then, ushered in this transition to late model stocks and super late models and now pro late models. What is his role moving forward, if any?
He's going to remain as the vice president. And he is still going to be doing his same exact role, rounding everybody up at the racetrack and keeping everything neat.
So for the folks at home watching that maybe aren't as involved in the business side of racing, can you give us a few examples of why having individuals such as Dale and Kevin and Justin Marks and Jeff involved in a short track racing program is beneficial for the series drivers?
It is because they're all on the same page that we are too. You have to keep that balance between being a developmental series and a place that drivers can be recognized to move up through the ranks. But then, you also have to keep those local drivers and the teams that need and want to make a living owning these cars. And I think that between the four of them, they all come from different parts. I guess what I'm trying to say is they all bring something different to the table, which is really just gonna kind of complete us.
Mm-hmm.
I know you can't go into detail, but does this change the website, the streaming, the social media? I mean, does that part of it change with this too, or?
Yeah. So, I mean, the streaming world has gotten really competitive.
Really?
So those are all, y'all know. So, I mean, we're definitely going to be looking into all of those options and things. But everybody, sorry, my dogs are barking.
Did I get the dog fired up?
Yes, it's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. But yeah, everybody is going to be, able to have a say in how this is going to work.
Well, that's great. I know you guys have got your banquet is coming up. Is it next weekend?
It is next weekend. Yes.
Well, I know a lot of folks are going to be looking forward to that and how with everything how it's going. I know we just had you on back in December with the short track awards and stuff, but I appreciate you doing this because, like I said, I just think a lot of folks. Change is exciting, but change can be scary too. And I know there's been a lot of questions, but I can tell you from dealing this weekend, the rumors were going around, but everything I've heard has been positive. Everything, yes, this week on social media seems to have been positive, and can't wait to see what this year looks like. I think it's going to be really amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is going to change a lot for everybody involved in short track racing. This isn't just a win for the Car Store. This is a win for everybody who has a dream and, wants to get more involved in short track racing. I think this is the start of something really big for all of us.
Well, good job, Keely. Like I texted you, I don't think that this could have happened without your involvement here over the last 2 or 3 years. And I'm so glad. I think it's very smart of this group to keep some of the brain trust there. So good luck this season, and I'm sure we'll be checking in a lot.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you all for having me on and supporting us as always.
Communication is key in the racing world. When it comes to at-the-track communications, there is only one place to call. Racing Electronics is the #1 source for professional race communications worldwide. Over 20 years in the business proves their dedication to the sport. With every driver and crew communication, two-way radios and headsets, scanners and more, Racing Electronics is a one-stop communication source for all your motorsports needs. Before the green flag flies, make sure you have all your team communication gear from Racing Electronics. Stop by and see a Racing Electronics representative at the track near you. Visit their showroom in Concord, North Carolina, or order online at racingelectronics.com.
It's race time on Short Track America.
Dirt or pavement, from east to west. Short Track America features some of the biggest grassroots races around the country. Super late models to street stock racing. If it's on a half-mile or smaller track, it's on Short Track America. On MAV TV, Motorsports Network.
Cirque Motorsport has been providing industry-leading cleaning and analysis for heat exchangers for over 15 years. Now that same technology is here in the U.S., tailored to your specific competitive needs for every racing market.
The only 100% certain way to know that your cooler is clean.
Go to CirqueMotorsport.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more details on how we can help you gain Cirque speed.
I'm Bobby Labonte, Cookout Modified number 25, and you're watching Racing America.
Welcome back to the Bullring with Jess and Alan, and our Racing Roots driver this week, which seems so odd to me that he's going back to his roots now, is Corey Heim. And Corey, so many times you have been on the show because you were racing late models, and now your primary focus is the trucks, and you're coming back to late models. But seriously, I appreciate you joining us. And man, you're good at watermelon, but just didn't quite have enough for Bubba this week, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the first time that I found myself kind of in that situation where I really thought I could win on equal tires, and then how the pit strategy all worked out. He pitted about 50 laps earlier than me for the right side tires. And, we had that caution of 20 to go. I made it to second within like 3 laps, and I had that caution fall perfectly. I thought everything was, all the cards were falling the right way. And, just didn't quite have it. I mean, sometimes sometimes you have those days, and when you're racing against a really, really good late model driver in Bubba, one of the best of all time and best that I've raced with, it's tough to race that guy sometimes and beat him. I mean, the days that you beat him are really, really good days. And sometimes when you finish second to him, it's still a good day. And I feel like it overall was a good day for us. Just definitely stings a little bit to have those fresher tires and have kind of that opportunity just falling in my lap and not being able to execute. But, that's part of it. It's part of racing.
We've had a lot of drivers over the last few weeks talk about how just seat time and laps and running very frequently over the season is really what helps a driver hone in on their skills and makes them really great. Is that the main reason why you come back and run these late model races?
Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it. I mean, being out of the seat for about a month and a half ever since the Derby is the last race that I ran, to be able to come back and just kind of knock the rust off, like you said, and really be able to I feel like I learn something every time I race. So to be able to go and just get that extra seat time, get those extra laps, and work with the great people at Wilson Motorsports and just kind of learn what they've been doing that's made them so successful over the past year is something that I'm really grateful to be able to have going for me, and to be able to get warmed up before Daytona this year. And I feel like I'm not racing quite as much as I normally am. So, any start for me is a big opportunity, and it was nonetheless this past weekend.
I know you got to be excited this year to be able to run the full season in the Craftsman Truck Series to go for that championship. With a change, though, would Kyle Busch joining a Chevrolet team. That's where KBM goes. You're a Toyota driver going to a new team. How much stays the same and how much is different heading into this year?
Yeah, I feel like just with the help of Toyota Racing, this whole process has been, really easy for me. I thought, when I heard about the news of Kyle, switching manufacturers and everything, I thought, oh man, I kind of start over with a brand new team and brand new people, brand new owners. You could, rifle off a bunch of different things that you'd have to start over to kind of get used to that. But honestly, it's been really straightforward so far. Just being able to, I haven't really announced my crew chief yet, but just working with him and being able to work with these new sponsors and just this new team, everyone's kind of welcomed me in as family, I feel like, and it's been such an easy process thanks to Toyota and Tricon and everyone over there that has made this process so easy for me. But we've been working really hard these past couple of months, me and the team, to really start our bond and being able to understand what it takes to win races. And, I've been putting a lot of work into myself to, go out there and have a really good, successful 2023 season. So, going to keep working towards Daytona. I think we got about 2 more weeks, and I'm super excited.
Just off the top of your head, do you have any goals you've set for yourself for the 2023 season, whether it be in late model racing or in the truck series?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds cliche, but, just win races. That's kind of what I live for and what I do this for. I like to have fun with the sport, but I put a lot of pressure on myself to be successful. That's, the whole reason why I moved up to North Carolina and have made this my career, is to go out and win. So I really think we can do that. I think, a handful of wins is my goal this year and to compete for the championship. But just making the people who support me proud of me, and, just definitely don't want to take this opportunity for granted. I feel like, this is my first time running a full schedule of anything in like 5 years since I ran the full Southern Super Series and Cars Tour series, a couple, 5 years ago, like I mentioned. And to be able to finally run for a points championship again is an opportunity that I will definitely not take for granted.
Well, we say it a lot, but we are proud of you. And there's so many of you guys that, are in the truck series or Xfinity or even in the Cup series that, we've followed since your short track days. Good luck this year. I got a feeling it's going to be a great year, and good luck coming up here at Daytona.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Welcome to Raceface Digital Collectible Cards. Are you a driver or a team looking to expand your brand? Want to connect with your fans, give sponsors more exposure, and earn income from all card sales? Then Raceface Digital has you covered. Digitize your brand with 5 different collectible cards. Enrollment is now open to all drivers and all series. Visit racefacedigital.com today and use invite code RA1.
Never before in the 70-year history of Five Flag Speedway has a season opener been anything quite like this. The biggest names in short track racing converge on the high banks of Five Flag Speedway for the opening round of the Deep South Cranes Blizzard Series and the inaugural event of the ASA Stars National Racing Tour. The biggest stars, the fastest cars. It's the Sunshine State 200 for super late models, March 10th and 11th. Go to FiveFlagSpeedway.com for full details.
Welcome to the new home for race fans, Racing America. Live short track racing. Exclusive team content.
I bet, that's what they all say. Any NASCAR fan is really a short track fan at heart.
Behind the scenes access. From grassroots to NASCAR, join us at the home for race fans everywhere. Racing America, it's in our DNA.
Rhino Classifieds is an online classifieds platform built for racers and race fans. Rhino makes finding parts, trailers, and specialty vehicles easy. Posting is free. Signing up is free. That's a lot of free. So jump in and join the most streamlined motorsports-focused classifieds out there at rhino.co. That's RYNO.co.
Well, usually during this part of the show, we either have Matt Weaver on or Zach, what's his name, Zach Evans.
Mm-hmm.
But this week,
They were booted.
they were booted, and for a much better reason, in my opinion. Our lucky dog this week is Natalie Decker. Natalie, thanks for joining us. And the reason I say lucky dog is because you have got this new venture that I want to hear all about, Galaxy Racer. I understand it's virtual reality, but help me understand a little bit more about what it is, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so Galaxy Racer is a gaming team that supports creators, like on Twitch, live streaming, and gamers, athletes like myself. And overall, when they reached out, I was so excited because they really support women. And being in the racing industry, it's very male dominated. And as well as the gaming industry, it's very male dominated. So when they said that they really wanted to change that, it really intrigued me and got my interest. And that made me really happy to hear that. And they're one of the few gaming teams that have this many women involved, where it's split pretty much 50% from male and female. And that makes me so happy to see that. And especially just coming from an industry where it is very heavily male dominated.
Can I just say, Jess, that I give a 100% endorsement. I totally advocate and offer to be dominated by women. Okay? So.
Great. Thanks, Alan. I want to say how we can tell Natalie's a gamer and a streamer because of
the setup.
The setup, yes. Her mic, you sound so great, and we got
Thank
the
you.
cute background. I know she's in her gaming chair. Natalie's one of my best friends, so I know her little gaming room, big gaming room, very well. And Natalie, you've always had a great social media presence, and that's been such a big part of your racing career. But once you started doing the streaming, which I think you started kind of around COVID when everyone else kind of, got into Twitch, you can literally game with your fans and interact with them in real time. And it kind of just takes it to the next level, building those connections. So can we just talk to Rod Worthman with Raceface Development, Raceface Brand Development? We were talking about the importance of drivers having a brand. So can you tell us a little bit about how building your brand online has positively affected your racing career?
Yeah, it's so important. And you know this very well, Jess. It is extremely important to build a connection, build a brand, and to show your fans you're not just a race car driver, because sometimes that's all that they see. And that's not all that we are. And we have other interests and other hobbies and other things that we want to accomplish in our life. We don't just go to the racetrack, show up, race, go home, go to sleep, and then repeat. There's so much more work that goes into it. And when COVID did happen, and Derek, my fiance now,
I was about to say.
You lifted your hand up, and I was like, "Oh, I should have opened with that."
Well,
it's like she was
Natalie.
Subconsciously going.
He was like, "Natalie, you need to start streaming." He's like, "Have you heard of Twitch?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Let's just try it out, see if you like it." And my first stream I ever did, it was off of an Xbox playing Rocket League, and so many of my fans showed up, and I was hooked instantly. I felt so much love, so much support, and it was so cool to be able to interact with them while I was live. It was instant, and that was the really fun part of it. And we get to now play games together. We get to iRace together, Call of Duty, Valorant, Fall Guys, all these games that I really have fallen in love with besides racing and iRacing. I get to do with my fans, and it's a whole new level of fun.
Can I just say?
Fans.
Can I just say, my kids? So they were all into the computer games, literally the iPad games and stuff like that. We got hooked up an Xbox and started playing towards the end of last year. My mom was like, "Hey, they want a PS5. I'll buy them a PS5 for Christmas," which she did. And the reason I bring this up is because Natalie mentioned Rocket League. So Clinton shows me this Rocket League game, and even when I'm not playing the game, like when the boys are playing against each other, I'm sitting there moving like this, being like, come on, hit that ball, knock it through the game.
That's one of your favorites, isn't it, Natalie?
That's what I started with. I haven't played Rocket League in a while, but my top favorites are Call of Duty and Valorant right now. So hopefully I can start getting better and better at them so I can start beating Derek. That's my goal.
Well, Natalie, congratulations. I think this is great. I think that it's the start of a trend of something new, and also congratulations on your engagement. And I look forward to you being as miserable as I've been now for the last 15 or 20 years.
Alan with the jokes this segment.
With a can of PB Blaster in your hand, even you can work it like a pro. PB Blaster busts the toughest rust anywhere it's found. In the garage.
That's what I'm talking about.
In the yard.
Oh, that's right, you're in control. Come at me, bro.
Penetrate tough rust anywhere around the house.
Come on, get you some. That's right, baby. Woo!
PB Blaster. Don't bust your knuckles, bust your nuts.
Get some.
Welcome to Raceface Digital Collectible Cards. Are you a driver or a team looking to expand your brand? Want to connect with your fans, give sponsors more exposure, and earn income from all card sales? Then Raceface Digital has you covered. Digitize your brand with 5 different collectible cards. Enrollment is now open to all drivers and all series. Visit racefacedigital.com today and use invite code RA1.
Classifieds is an online classifieds platform built for racers and race fans. Rhino makes finding parts, trailers, and specialty vehicles easy. Posting is free. Signing up is free. That's a lot of free. So jump in and join the most streamlined motorsports-focused classifieds out there at rhino.co. That's RYNO.co.
You're watching Racing America.
Back here with Mark Martin on the Bullring today, presented by Shack Eye Gear. And we were talking a little bit before we went to break, Mark, about, these national tours and dirt. And, I've explained it to people. It took a long time for dirt to get the rules unified and to get it basically broken down into 2 national tours, which could coexist and thrive. Do you feel like the rules are the biggest thing with late models? Because, I mean, you can run a super late model from Florida all the way up to Alberta in Canada, but there's about 200 different rules packages, it seems like.
That's a big problem. The rules package is a big problem. It needs to be pretty much universal so that a guy who races at a track locally and a big event comes up in his region, he can go and race that car. And so a standardized rules package is really something that the pavement late models really need.
Mark, I want to ask you about a new project you've been working on, but before we get there, you mentioned how gut-wrenching it was to lose the snowball derby. And we had Dave Moody join us at the snowball derby this past year. I'd love to have Mark join us this next year.
Yeah,
if it's not too
if it's not too
painful for you to go back to Five Flags.
Which you did so great on that race at Fox. We will extend that in. This is much more meager, but you probably would actually enjoy it more.
But I want to. So, what is your best memory in late model racing that you have?
probably my best memory is in 1977. I moved from late model dirt to late model asphalt, and the opportunity to race with Dick Trickle and Joe Shear and Dave Watson and Tom Refner and all these greats like this was just an honor for me. And we went to the National Short Track Championship at Rockford. I think it was the 13th annual, and 12th or 13th, and at that time, and I was just 18 years old, and I was 110 pounds, just looked like a little kid.
Sounds like Jess.
Yeah. And we qualified second to Trickle, and they invert 12 cars. And when that thing was over with, we crossed the finish line first. I mean, we won the National Short Track Championship. And it was one of those things where you didn't know if you went and raced that race for 10 years and you'd been close to winning it all those 10 years, when you finally won it, it would be no surprise. But to be able to win that race was such a surprise to me, especially because I never dreamed that I could compete on that level. We just went up there to be challenged and to compete against the best. We had no idea that we could win that race. And that was probably my most memorable late model win of my career.
Love that. I want to talk about your new website, which is just beautiful. It's awesome. I believe Emily and Harris did that for you over at Lou Creative. We work with them. They're great. But markmartinarchive.com, it's got merchandise. It's got all kinds of stats on there. Tell us about that.
Well, Matt started that, my son, and the reason he started it was he was doing research. We're doing a new book that we're really excited about, and he's been doing so much research on the book that he thought, well, let's start an Instagram page and kind of do some historical stuff. And it was just so popular that he decided to start some merchandise. And dude, it is amazing, the merchandise. He has a real eye for retro stuff and what the fans like. And so he's gone from the shirts, which, he's got super cool shirts. He does limited edition stuff. So, they come and then they go. If you don't get on it, you miss it. But he's also working on really historical die casts that have never been made, some of which have never been made. And we have about 10 of those coming down the pipeline over the next, I think, 3 years to get those done. There's a lot of work goes into getting those approvals for sponsors like, Stroh's Light, Reese's, and so many others, great sponsors that I had, even Miller, back in the days. So he's working on all that stuff, and I'm really proud of what he's doing. And there's a lot more cool stuff to come down the pipeline.
I should stop because my producer, which is me, has got to edit this, but I am going to go over just a little bit. 2 real quick questions. First off, how impressed were you with what Dale Earnhardt Jr. did last year at North Wilkesboro and then going to Florence?
Well, that's really impressive. And I thought a lot about it when I watched Junior race, and I thought about, how terribly I would have done in that situation. So to have Junior perform the way he performed was really spectacular. And I do have a few years on him, but still, it's not easy to do. That bunch is on their game. And of course, Josh Berry being in his ear didn't hurt anything. But pretty darn impressive. And what went on there at North Wilkesboro was so historic. And I'm really proud of Barry Braun, who and Racer XR for the work that he put into that as well. All the work that Junior put into it. And listen, Junior is a racing treasure. We are so lucky to have Dale Jr. Helping us race fans enjoy the history of the sport and the future of the sport as well. So I'm really grateful to Dale Jr. for that.
And last question. I know you've been involved through some ownership and sponsorship with dirt late models. In the right circumstance, could you see yourself in some form get back involved in a more unified pavement late model series?
I'm not going to say no, but I also don't want a job. So I wouldn't want, the only thing I want to do is once in a while walk in somebody's shop and look at cool stuff. I mean, I do not want a job. I have a full-time job being retired and doing what I'm doing. So I'm not going to say no because the right situation might come up. I love late model racing. That's where my passion is. Matthew Weaver is a huge resource. You guys are a huge resource, and it's very, very important to me that you guys continue and grow your coverage of the grassroots kind of racing. And listen, late model, dirt or pavement, either one, that is not grassroots racing. That is the upper level of racing that is outside of the NASCAR umbrella.
Welcome to the new home for race fans, Racing America. Live short track racing. Exclusive team content.
I bet, that's what they all say. Any NASCAR fan is really a short track fan at heart.
Behind the scenes access. From grassroots to NASCAR, join us at the home for race fans everywhere. Racing America, it's in our DNA.
SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel are your all-inclusive motorsports warehouses with more than 450 product lines. They have everything to put you in victory lane, from professional racing to street performance. SRI and Stock Car Steel have you covered with leading brands as well as a large selection of steel, aluminum, and plastics. With locations in North Carolina and Indiana, access has never been easier. SRI has the world's largest inventory of used parts. SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, your one-stop shops for everything racing.
Welcome to Raceface Digital Collectible Cards. Are you a driver or a team looking to expand your brand? Want to connect with your fans, give sponsors more exposure, and earn income from all card sales? Then Raceface Digital has you covered. Digitize your brand with 5 different collectible cards. Enrollment is now open to all drivers and all series. Visit racefacedigital.com today and use invite code RA1.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety and the exclusive importer for Schroth belts and Schubert helmets. When risk is around every corner, let our experts help you select the best harness belts, head restraints, helmets, and racing attire for your type of racing. Don't make safety an afterthought. We have 25 years of experience of educating our customers on all aspects of driver safety and providing the most advanced driver safety products to NASCAR, IndyCar, sprint cars, and sport cars. Visit our stores in Mooresville, North Carolina, or Danvers, Massachusetts, or check us out online at hmsmotorsport.com to learn the details of our products and, of course, order online.
Welcome back to the Bullring with Jess and Alan. Glad to have you here this afternoon. Of course, we've mentioned Shaq Eye Gear, our sponsor today. And you may say, well, what exactly is Shaq Eye Gear? Well, here to tell us is the CEO of Xylaware, Jamie Shire. And Jamie, first off, thank you for your support of the Bullring and also a lot of our streaming coverage on Racing America. So what is Xylaware?
Well, Alan, first, it's our pleasure to be part of all this. So Xylaware is the oldest family-owned and operated eyeglass frame company in the United States. Started in 1923 by my grandfather, so we are a United States-based family business, third generation. Now, my cousin and I own the company together, taking over from our fathers. So, yeah, full-on third generation. So we are an eyeglass frame company. Really, most of our business has been the eyeglasses that you would find at a retail store when you go in, get your prescription, and so you got your frame that you get, your fashion frame and lenses. We would make a lot of those frames and sell them worldwide.
Wow, 100 years and in the same family. That is just incredible. For those of you watching at home, I kept hearing Shack Eye Gear. And but until I read how it was spelled, wasn't making the connection.
She
But
thought it was SHACK.
I did until I mean, weeks went by. So anyway, it is the Shack of Shack Eye Gear.
It is Shaquille O'Neal. It is the man himself. Absolutely.
And these glasses are focused on gaming and blue blocking. Is that correct?
It is. So just to give you a little history, Shaquille O'Neal is one of our celebrity partners. We make eyeglass frames, again, that you find at retail stores under the Shaquille O'Neal brand. Then we started doing sports safety, so sports protective, something that you would wear on the field or on the basketball court. And we have that under Shack Eye Gear as well. So you go to your fine outdoor retail stores, ask for that type of product. But then what happened? COVID hit, right? And we're all kind of looking at each other. No one's on the field, no one's on the court, no one's going out, but everyone's gaming. That's kind of what we got the feel of. Everyone's inside, they start gaming, and we did a pivot. And we worked with Shaq, and he agreed that it was time that the next sport is gaming. And gaming is a sport, folks. We know that is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and we protect people's eyes on the outside. Now we're protecting your eyes in front of the screen.
Well,
that's kind of the birth of it.
Jamie is correct about it being a sport. My boys are 12 and 9 and really just started getting into PlayStation this year, PlayStation 5, and they have recruited me. And if you don't think that gamers are athletes, you should feel the muscle here in my thumb right here.
Yeah, I'll tell you, your thumbs, there's nothing better now. It's the strongest muscle in the human body.
That's right. Well,
what next thing in the gaming? So.
Well, how did you guys decide to get become involved in racing, in particular grassroots racing?
So, as we're developing the Shack Eye Gear for gaming, and we developed our styles and started getting into market, we're just started looking at different channels to go down. And, like we talk about grassroots and how everything kind of happens. One day I'm out on a golf course with a buddy of mine who happens to work for RTA. And we're talking, and he asked me, so what are you up to these days? COVID's happening, and golf's the only thing you could do. And I told him that we were working on this whole gaming glass with Shaquille O'Neal. And he said, hey, did you know that that drivers, if they're not behind the wheel, they're behind the console because they're honing their abilities at all times. And one of the best ways to hone abilities is by gaming. I had no idea. But then we just put our heads together and thought, hey, if we could protect the eyes of all these drivers and all these gamers who are in the NASCAR world or in the race car world, let's do it. So we made a gamble, and it looks pretty good right now.
Well, I think a parallel between gamers and, I guess, real world racers is that every little thing you can do to get that extra tenth or improve performance is crucial because it's so competitive. And so this blue blocking technology, I mean, to someone who's not really into gaming, it might seem silly, but to someone that's looking to have just that little extra edge, I mean, that's huge. And it's the same for on-track racing. So if someone wanted to learn more, where can they go to find out?
Well, and I'll give you a little bit of history, but Shack Eye Gear, SHAQ-eyegear.com is definitely the place to go to find more information, even to make a purchase. The great thing about these, I think we all know it. If you're on your phones all day, sometimes at night you feel a little bit blurry. You can't really get some sleep. That's just from all the visuals in front of us, whether it be a phone or a screen. And you're right, it is about a tenth of a second. What these glasses are, it's not just about blue blocking, which it is very much, but it's also about high definition, anti-glare. It gives you sustainability. Gamers swear by this now. They say that not only do they have the edge, they're able to see the screen and sustain themselves for hours, but also it's about the frame that we make. These frames right here, very comfortable, very wearable. They look pretty good on the face too.
Yeah, very cute.
Yeah, so it's something you can wear all the time if you want. But you start wearing them, you don't even know that you're wearing them. So that's all part of it too, because you need to focus here. You don't have to worry about what them. And that's what we do for.
Communication is key in the racing world. When it comes to at-the-track communications, there is only one place to call. Racing Electronics is the #1 source for professional race communications worldwide. Over 20 years in the business proves their dedication to the sport. With every driver and crew communication, two-way radios and headsets, scanners and more, Racing Electronics is a one-stop communication source for all your motorsports needs. Before the green flag flies, make sure you have all your team communication gear from Racing Electronics. Stop by and see a Racing Electronics representative at the track near you. Visit their showroom in Concord, North Carolina, or order online at racingelectronics.com.
Hooters and racing go together like killer wings and ice-cold beer. Racing has been at the core of Hooters' DNA from the beginning. Whether it's backing the best drivers or serving up the best food on race day, race fans know Hooters is the real deal. Big screens, great food, good times. Hooters, the official home of race fans.
Welcome back, and hope you enjoyed this look back at some of our favorite interviews from 2023. And I want to put you on the spot now.
Okay.
And no, I'm not going to put you on the spot because I was going to say, what was your favorite interview of 2023? But I can't even remember the guest that we have on the show the day that we have them on the show. Every interview, in all seriousness, I thought was great. We loved these racers coming on and joining us, and they're candid and relaxed, and we have some fun with them. But we also, we talk some serious racing stuff.
Yeah, and it's great that we have so many people that are in so many different roles in the industry that you truly get all the different perspectives, and it kind of opens your eyes to different perspectives.
Yeah, and hopefully through what Jess and I do, you get different perspectives. Me being an older male and her being a younger female, it's different.
Some of us like Wiz Khalifa, some of us don't.
Yeah, some of us like halftime shows, some of us don't. That was from last week's show. You'll have to go back and watch that on demand.
Oh, did that not make the best of the Bullring cut?
No, believe me, that's on the junk pile reel of the Bullring. But we do want you to remember to check out this weekend. We'll be at Citrus County Speedway down in Florida. We'll be back at Citrus County again next weekend with racing action on racingamerica.tv. You can log in and also check out some of our on-demand races. Racingamerica.com. They have done a great job this week capturing everything from the World Series down at New Smyrna, the Cup stuff going on over at Daytona. Just a great job by our entire team to continue to monitor racingamerica.com to get the latest news coming out of Daytona. And don't forget, if you have a LG TV or if you have other connected devices, you can check out our Racing America streaming channel. It's there 24/7, and it really is the best of what we do here at Racing America. And you actually get to see some stuff that you can only see on our Racing America's channel. So be sure to check that out. And if you don't have it, then, tell the people that you do have that you want it.
Yeah. That channel is so great because when I was younger, I would leave the Discovery Channel on, because I loved Mythbusters and all those good shows. This is a channel that you can leave on, and you just get a little bit of everything, and there's always something exciting going on. This was a selfless plug for the Fast Channel.
And you also get to see Jess pre-cancer hair, Jess without hair, and Jess with a couple different wigs and with current hair.
Yes. So if you're into
your hair,
my hair, or racing, there's something for everyone.
It's the perfect thing to find, and we're going to continue to monitor Jess's hair throughout the 2023 season. I guarantee you it's going to be totally different this time next year.
And we will not be monitoring Alan's.
I knew that's where that was headed. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today, and thank all of our guests that have joined us so far here in 2023. Be sure to tune in next week. We'll wrap up Speed Weeks, wrap up everything at Daytona. You can only find it on the Bullring.
Welcome to Raceface Digital Collectible Cards. Are you a driver or a team looking to expand your brand? Want to connect with your fans, give sponsors more exposure, and earn income from all card sales? Then Raceface Digital has you covered. Digitize your brand with 5 different collectible cards. Enrollment is now open to all drivers and all series. Visit racefacedigital.com today and use invite code RA1.
Get up on your feet, race fans.
Can you believe it?
Right now, racing, in my opinion, is as healthy as it's been in the last 15 to 20 years.
Just wanted to make that first lap.
Go!
Never before in the 70-year history of Five Flag Speedway has a season opener been anything quite like this. The biggest names in short track racing converge on the high banks of Five Flag Speedway for the opening round of the Deep South Cranes Blizzard Series and the inaugural event of the ASA Stars National Racing Tour. The biggest stars, the fastest cars. It's the Sunshine State 200 for super late models, March 10th and 11th. Go to FiveFlagSpeedway.com for full details.